All right, so keeping us on track here, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Eric Fidler. Mr. Fidler is the Director of Product Safety for Grove U.S. L.L.C. He is responsible for the mobile hydraulic crane, boom truck, and tower crane product lines, and managing product safety programs and processes with emphasis in establishing and monitoring acceptance safety criteria for our products, in representing the company in dealing with governmental regulatory agencies, industry standards, organizations, and litigation. Mr. Fidler received his Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering degree from West Virginia University in 1989 and his Master of Engineering Professional Practice from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 2001. Mr. Fidler is currently the ASME B30 chair, a member of the B30.29, and an alternate on the ASME B30.5 and ASME B30.23. He is also the ISO U.S. tag chair and the chairman of the ISO TC 96 SC6 for mobile cranes. So we got somebody that is involved in a lot of the different things, as you can see. He's going to provide us a update on the latest that's going on with the ASME B30 committee. Eric, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Please, you can put your screen in presenter mode and share your slides. I think we see it, but we see your screen not in presentation.
Okay, I'm not sure which. Trying to figure out which screen I need to put it on is the problem.
Oh, yeah, we see it. I think you just need to go and do the presentation there at the bottom. If you click on.
Okay. I'm in presentation mode, but I've got three screens.
Oh, then we're seeing your screen that's showing all your slides. So maybe we need the other screen that shows.
Hang on just a second. Let me get out of presentation mode for a second. And it's screen one. That's the problem, most likely. No, it's dumping to the wrong screen. Let me just reshare and share that screen. IT is definitely not always the...
Oh, we know it.
Is that better?
Hold on. There we go. That works. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, please.
All right. And TJ, thank you for inviting me. I will send you this. I found a couple editorial typos that I corrected this morning. So I'll send you an update if people want a copy of it. As TJ said, I am the chair of B30 and other standards development committees, but we're going to focus on B30. Just some basics. There's currently 29 published volumes under B30, the committee that we manage, everything from hydraulic jacks, mobile cranes, tower cranes, to even use of unmanned aircraft systems or drones as part of crane activities or lifting. Where you've heard before, we have every year, we typically have a few documents that are ready for publication. So in 2022, we had 4, focusing more on overhead, and B3023 was published in 2022. 23, we had the articulating crane standard and the rope standard revised and published. Just for information, we have a B3031 under development. That will be for the SPMTs, the remote transporters. That document is still in development. I suspect we're probably a year or two out on publication of that. 2024 was a busy year for the committee. You can see a list here. I think it's 11 standards that are heading to publication. So the committee work is done, and then it goes through a cycle where it has to go out for public review and comment. And then it has to go through an internal approval process within ASME up through ANSI. And then it finally gets to the editors for publication. So we're in the end of the year. I don't know if any of these will actually be published before the end of 24. They'll probably fall into 25, but you can see the important ones are tower cranes, portal cranes, mobile cranes, personnel handling. We have a rotorcraft, load suspended from rotorcraft standard that's going to be published again. material placement systems is concrete pump trucks. So there's a significant number of standards currently in that pipeline. Some key details for the big ones. So in tower cranes, the big issues that were addressed in the volume that's coming up, we are incorporating the B3030 standard for ropes. So every volume had to go back and review how they would adopt the B3030 and transition from their own language to the B3030 language. More importantly, probably than that, were there were sections on lift planning developed, responsibilities for operators, and also addressing things like electrical hazards, that's power lines and so forth, wind speeds during climbing. Something new was they're considering the use of multiple hoist lines from a tower crane during operation. And then they're also addressing the operator aids, which would be your limiters and your other sensors and so forth. B30.5 is also pending publication. And again, they also incorporated the B3030 standard. There were some revisions to definitions for superstructures and brakes. The superstructure definition, while it seems like it's not that important, the definitions of crane types fall under how superstructures are defined. So it does have a pretty good effect on some of the methodology. Again, we got into qualifications, and in B30.5, we're looking at operator requalification, and we're syncing that up for the same as what NCCCO requires, that at a minimum every 5 years. We also added some lift director qualifications. There was a revision to the section on critical lifts, and we refreshed all the diagrams, so we're not looking at hand-drawn pictures from the 1960s to try to figure out what type of crane we're dealing with. Moving into the future state, for a couple of the critical ones for this group, tower cranes, they're going through a complete review of the standard. So they're going to basically put together ad hocs and lay out where they think the standard needs updated. That's, as you saw, it's just being published, so this will be the next cycle for them. B30.5 has already started that process, and they're a little further into it. So they've created an ad hoc for each section of the volume, each chapter, and they are trying to bring those up to current date. So we're talking about things like cranes with slew limited load charts or asymmetric outriggers and sensing. We're looking at updating the access egress sections, the operator aid sections. We're doing a whole review of the test, inspection, and maintenance section. And again, in the operations section, the focus currently is on qualification and responsibilities for riggers and signal people. B30.23, again, same group of people, cover several of these committees. They're looking at doing the same thing. So they're looking at a complete review of the standard, looking at updates. One of the things they're focused on is the anchor point structure to align that more with what I'm old enough to say the aerial work platform or the MOOP industry uses for their requirements for anchor points. And with that, I think I've got you back on time, TJ, and if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Yes, you did. Thank you. So are there any questions from the audience? Again, we have a question over there. Tara or Emily will bring you the microphone so Eric can hear those questions. Thanks. Thank you for giving that update, Eric. I appreciate your succinctness, but your completeness in that.
On the B35 comment, you mentioned operator requalifications. Anything you can quickly define of what that's going to be?
It's going to mirror the NCCCO. So it's, if you get into a situation where it's deemed you need to be requalified, and I think that language is already in the standard, but we're going to add a time interval that the requalification process must be done at a minimum of every 5 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? There's one other question. We probably have time for one, maybe two, but.
Thank you so much. Could you speak to what the lift director qualifications would look like?
I would have to pull those up to be able to speak to them. It's been a couple months or a year since I've looked at them, but the idea of B30 is you have your site owner, your site supervisor, your lift director, and so it's spelled out, and there's a half a page probably for each. Like I said, I'd have to take a few moments to pull it up, but I'm sure if Tom Sicklesteel is in the audience, he might be able to add some color to that. He is one of the vice chairs of the main committee and participates as well. If we need to, TJ, I can go offline and maybe bring something back later.
Yeah, no problem. We can follow up with that. I appreciate that, Eric, and didn't think you have the answer to all the questions at the top at your fingertips, but I appreciate that. To keep us on time, I'll say thank you very much for sharing your information. Again, we'll share your slides after this recording, and then obviously, if there's any follow-up questions, I'll be happy to share those with you as well.
Right.
So,
I'll look at, TJ, what I'll look at doing is for that last question, I'll see if I can add something and send it along with the slide set. I would add that the B30 committee is always looking for people who want to participate. As you saw, there's numerous subcommittees and various interests, and if anyone's ever interested in getting involved with that or has comment to changes they'd like to see, please feel free to bring them to our attention or come to a meeting and participate.
great, will do. Thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate it.
Thank you.